Guys, welcome to my kitchen. I was asked to do a video on my inmate brew, which I'm going to rename as Lockdown Brew. For all of you moms sitting at home, I'm sure you've probably run out of wine by this stage. As you know, the president has kept up his ban on alcohol here in South Africa during lockdown. So, being a dad and having a wife and two young kids, I know for all those moms out there, you need your wine to stay sane, especially after, I don't know what we are, day 30 odd of lockdown. So I thought today I'd share quite a cool recipe with you on how to make what we are now referring to as lockdown wine. Very, very easy, very, very simple. It's just on Facebook I noticed the recipe didn't quite work the way I used to make it. So I'm giving you guys my recipe step for step. It works really well. And basically you can get everything at the shop as essential items except for maybe the yeast, which is selling out. You can see behind me I've got the juicer and some pineapples ready. The next video we're going to make some pineapple beer. A little bit nervous about that because I'm trying something new with that pineapple beer, and we're going to see how that works out. So follow along. Hope you're gonna enjoy it, and we'll take it from there. Right, so before we start, guys, I must reiterate something very, very important. That is sanitation. Guys, everything has to be sanitized and sterile and done properly. Now, obviously the brew shops are closed, your normal sanitary stuff is not available, but fortunately for us and those who have young kids, especially you moms with babies, I know you have this in your house, Milton's sterilizing fluid for baby bottles. Half a cup of this to a liter of water, and you've got sterile, you've got sanitizing fluid to wash out everything. Now, the next thing you're going to need is your juice. Has to be 100% preservative. If I'm not mistaken, there are actually no preservatives in there that I can see. Has to be 100%, guys. So what I've done is, in another video which you're going to try, I'm going to be trying Michalisburg concentrate juice, in which it's 100% concentrate, and I will make that for us. And we can see how that works if we make it into a thing. Obviously, this is quite expensive. You can get a concentrate that you can make your juice with and actually turn it into something like this. It'll obviously make it a lot cheaper. I wasn't going to pay the price. I got it on special. This I wasn't going to pay for in those fancy 3-liter bottle. Besides, this is a 5-liter bottle, so we can make more than what you normally see on YouTube. You need sugar, you need yeast. Bread yeast is fine, guys. Basically, what yeast does, now with bread yeast, it does turn sugar into alcohol, that is correct, but remember bread yeast also is more made to make carbon dioxide, so you will get a bit more carbonation on this, but it does make alcohol. Just remember that it is made to produce carbon dioxide, which makes your bread rise. Obviously, once lockdown ends, you can start ordering from the brew shops, but we don't have that right now, so we have to make do with what we have at home. Now, the next thing, those are your baseline ingredients. The next thing you do need, and this is one thing that the recipe didn't state, you need a yeast nutrient. Now, obviously, we don't have that available to us at the brew shops right now. So there is a way to do it, and that's with seedless raisins. Well, any raisin really. Prunes work as well. I'll show you how we're going to actually add that to our brew. We use a pot and about 1 inch, 2 inches of water. Just gives the yeast a bit of vigor, and it is a secret ingredient. You don't need to put it in. The other guys do it without. I do put it in. I noticed that, and I noticed that the yeast worked a little bit better, and I had a bit better fermentation on the wine. You obviously need a jug to keep all the extra, if you need some extra space for juice or pouring or whatever. And for the fermenter, I do have these from brewing, but this is a bubbler. Guys, I do recommend you get this. Look, I do have one on hand. It is easier to have for me, but it's not the end of the world. Get yourself a piece of PVC, a little bit of piping, tubing, whatever, put it in the hole there, and then you can put it into a separate bottle with water, and it'll do exactly the same thing. For the sake of it, I've got bubblers from brewing beer, so that fits in like that in our fermentation vessel. no need to spend any extra money, and this will now become your fermentation vessel. You need a funnel, and you need a cup, and you need a spoon. I've sanitized all my mixing ingredients. The bowl has been sanitized. The pot doesn't need to be sterilized because we're going to be boiling in it. So yeah, let's get cracking. Now remember, when you buy this in the 3 liter or the 5 liter bottle, that bottle is already sterile. I have sterilized this bottle as I've used it before for fermentation. It is sterile already, but I'm going to skip ahead to where I've done everything because you don't need to see me opening bottles and opening and measuring out ingredients. Right, so we've done all of that. So notice one thing in my original recipe. I always used to use about 3 liters, so I pour a little bit out to make it fit. So in this one, because I used a 5 liter vessel, I upped the sugar a little bit from 2 cups, which is that I put 2.5 cups. You can add a little bit more, but guys, just be careful putting too much sugar with yeast. You run the risk of you don't really pop the bottle. I mean, these things have got quite a high pressure build up. But what we'll do is we will just add a little bit more. We'll add more alcohol, but not too much. But you need to be careful with too much alcohol, guys. Don't mess around too much. Methanol is not good for you. And please also, when you do sterilize, something I didn't mention earlier, please make sure you rinse this and use the directions as at the back. That's very important, guys. You need to rinse that off. If you can't see behind me, I've already got the raisins boiling. I used just a handful. I'm going to try it with the pineapple beer as well. I've never put it in pineapple beer, but I think it would work. Yeast needs the nutrients. So it's like a extra, how do you put it? Like a vitamin, I don't know, supplementation for the yeast, I suppose. So yeah, we've got our juice inside the thing there. I think what we'll do now, we will add the sugar, and then we'll stir it up. And there we have it. Sugar's in. See, my funnel was still a tiny bit wet, so I got a bit sticky here for a second. Ended up using the spoon and making a bit of a mess. Right, we're going to pitch our yeast. Make sure your juice is room temperature, guys. Do not keep it in the fridge. Just sort of made that a little bit less than sanitary. I'll wipe it down with some sanitary thing, but my hands are also sterile, so it's fine. I did sterilize everything before. So, pitch your yeast. Try and always have a second lid available, other than your bubbler one. And now we're going to give it a good shake. Try and incorporate everything. Make sure all the sugar is incorporated. Some people start their yeast in a bit of warm water, not necessary. As long as your juice is room temp, you should be fine. It's been a bit cold here of late, so I might need to put it in the sun for a bit to try and get it warmed up a bit. Right, so I've shaken everything up now really good. Just keep going until that yeast, all the sugar at the bottom is dissolved. You can shake the sugar up before you pitch the yeast. Much of a muchness, I suppose. Some people will argue, some people won't. Either way, the yeast is going to eat the sugar. So what we're going to do now, we'll quickly pitch the yeast nutrient. And what I did was, I took my handful of raisins. I don't know if you can actually see this. Let me get the spoon, I'll try and bring it closer. So I mash it into like a pulp. So what that does is I mash it up with a fork or and a potato masher. And what that does is you just want the juice out of there. So about, I don't know, sort of a cup of water, maybe a little bit more. Just maybe like 25 mils above the base of the pot. Boil them up quickly, and then yeah, I've got this. So we'll pitch this in as well, and yeah, we should be able. Then we will close up, and we will let this ferment. Now remember, this will hit the cool liquid, so it's not actually going to make much of a difference. I don't know if you can see that, but doesn't matter. I see there's a few bits falling in there. So basically that's a bit of slop there, but a little bit more juice. This will all sink to the bottom at the end, so don't worry too much about it. So basically we're out, guys, we're done. We'll give it another shake, and then we'll put the bubbler on and see how it goes. Feed those yeasts. Right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our bubbler, put our bubbler on. Remember, I have sanitized this already. We'll put a little bit of water in here, plug it up, and ready to go. So we'll catch up in a couple of days to let this ferment. Basically, we're going to, once the water's in here, we're going to let that bubble and let it finish bubbling, and we will then see where we are. We might even take a gravity reading with a hygrometer, but don't think it's necessary. This is really for those of you who need some wine. So make this at home. It's really easy. As you can see, just don't forget the yeast nutrient, don't forget the measurements, and don't forget to sanitize. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next part of the video, where we will watch this bubbling and we will see how it goes. Cheers. Hi guys, it's 24 hours later. What I did was, so we made our lockdown wine. What I did was I put the bottle outside for just the afternoon yesterday, just to warm up. I found the juice that, obviously when I bought the juice, I left it inside. We had a cold front, so the inside temperature of the house wasn't quite great. The juice was a little bit cool. It wasn't cold. It didn't affect the yeast. It would take a bit longer to get it started. So what I did was, when I pitched the yeast, and after I finished off the end of the video, I put it outside. I did put a photo on Facebook for those of you that have a look. And then obviously in the afternoon I brought it inside, and by then it had started bubbling. So we're now 24 hours later and the brew is going crazy. I will quickly turn it around. Watch. So yeah, when that stops bubbling, and you notice it for like a day or so that it's really, really slow, really, really down, then yeah, you can take it out and bottle it and drink it.